Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today for our summer CTE discussion on business and industry partnerships. Today's discussion will be hosted by Dr. Rick Kalk. Dr. Kalk taught technology education for 20 years, and he spent the last 13 years of his career as the Director of Career Education and Business Partnerships for Spartanburg School District 5 in South Carolina. During his time at the district level, he cultivated and expanded partnerships with Sealed Air, WABCO, BMW Manufacturing, and several other businesses and industries in the region, and also served as the chair of the Middle Tiger Area Chamber Council. We're very fortunate to have him with us today as the host of this discussion. He is an expert on this topic. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Kalk.
Great. Welcome everybody, and good morning or good afternoon, whichever the case may be. I would love to find out your role in the education, CTE education spectrum. So if you don't mind, if you would let me know whether you're a teacher, a school administrator, a district administrator, counselor, or business partner, whatever your role is, I would love to know that because that might help with our discussion. And this is a discussion, so I want it to be multifaceted and have your input as well. What I'm going to do is just present some things that we did in the upstate of South Carolina, some changes that took place a little bit over 20 years ago in this area that really boosted our need for business partners and their need to partner with the education community. So what I'm going to do is switch over to a PowerPoint right now and talk about some key elements there. And as I say, I would love to have some great discussion back and forth. Let me get over here, get to our PowerPoint, and we'll start with that. So as was said earlier, I spent 13 years at the district level, and one of my roles was business and industry partnerships. And with that, we did have the support of not only the local industry, the community, the Chamber of Commerce, but also from our administration. And that was very important to have that administrative support. So there's going to be a value to any program with partnerships. That value is going to be dependent upon the type of program it is, whether it's business ed, health science, machine tool technology, etc., what the CTE program is. But there's also a benefit to the school as a whole, as well as to the district. But a lot of times we as educators forget about the business and industry benefits. What are some of the benefits to the local business and industry which will help them to want to partner with education? And then there's also community-wide benefits when you have a healthy partnership with your local businesses. Just in a way of example, your local business and industry could be a partner. You could also partner with your local Chamber of Commerce. That's a very valuable place to partner because that is a place where you will see meet a lot of your business leaders. Civic organizations, a lot of business leaders are part of the Kiwanis Lions and other professional associations, as well as trade organizations. And don't forget to partner with your post-secondary institutions. And if you are at the post-secondary level, partner with your secondary institutions because that dialogue back and forth and that partnership is very, very valuable. As a resource, your partners will help to provide workplace readiness skills. They can provide workplace experiences such as tours, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and some internships, co-op, obviously. Virtual job shadowing experiences. There have been a number of virtual job shadowing experiences that have been developed by several different companies so that students who don't have the time, don't have the resources to get out into an industry to shadow can shadow virtually. As well as all of those workplace skills that are so valuable as a resource when a student goes out into an industry to work, whether it's for internship or actually as their job. Another resource that we tied into very early on was curriculum support, and I'm going to talk about an example of that, as well as professional development. Your business industry partners can help you with your professional development, and obviously is in an advisory role. And a lot of people think of financial and material support as a key element for business partners, but to us in Spartanburg 5, that was a minor role because we did not want to stretch their resources too thin from a financial or material standpoint, but we wanted to develop and use what we could from the knowledge base that they had as our partners. Any questions at this point? I'd love to entertain any of those. Any questions? All right, we'll move back to the PowerPoint. One of the things that is important is to recognize your partners. When you recognize them, obviously you need to be in communications with them so that they are aware of the recognition that's taking place. And there needs to be really a constant communication back and forth between you and your partners. It's important to recognize them not only for their standpoint, because a lot of times a business or industry will partner with a district, not only from a local level, but there might be a corporate, not really mandate, but a corporate plan to coordinate and work with local schools and post-secondary institutions. And you should also publicize what you're doing with your business industry partner recognition. One of the things that we did in Spartanburg 5 was to recognize our local businesses and organizations. We wanted to make sure that they were dedicated to helping the students through their service as well as their contributions, but they needed to be beyond the normal scope of that business, industry, or organization. We weren't just looking for a company to continue to sell to our students or anything like that. Some of the different things that our businesses did, in addition to the monetary support and program material support, we asked a lot of them if they could help mentoring. And this was not just high school students and CTE students, but also went down into our middle grades as well as our elementary students. And we had a number of businesses releasing their employees for 45 minutes or an hour, maybe tagging it on to their lunch hour, to allow them to come in and mentor some of our students. Offering assistance with work-based learning activities, such as the shadowing, the internships, and so forth. Tutoring some of our students. A lot of those folks, those individuals, would have a talent in a specific area, and they could come in and tutor or read with our students. Serving as on a school or district council or committee, obviously that is one of the very important things that business and industry can do, is to support your council, your committees, advisory committees, and so forth. A lot of them would come in and teach or sponsor a junior achievement class, and again provide in-kind support, program material support, as well as monetary support. We were looking for folks when we did a recognition that had an ongoing relationship with the district schools. They provided continuous support, not just a one-shot deal. They would offer support above and beyond what would be considered normal. And we would look at a baseline such as their taxes are a normal support to the district, which is one reason why we did not emphasize the monetary support. and we felt that it could not be construed as advertising or promotion of a company's product or service. Obviously, we would not want folks to know what that company did, but we didn't want it to be free advertising for the company. Or even if they provided banners at a sporting event or something like that, we really didn't consider that part of our business partnerships with our different companies. What we did was had a perpetual plaque at our district office. We developed a window sticker that the business could put in their entryway window, which a lot of our businesses did. We also provided them some luggage tags that they could put on their briefcase or their luggage, so that would kind of advertise to others in the community and around the area, the region, that they were a partner with the educational institutions. We recognized them in our school district journal as well as online. Questions at this point? I've been talking a lot. I want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions that you might have. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, this is Kathy Taylor at Elgin Community College.
Okay, Kathy.
How closely did you work with your communications department at the college to help facilitate some of the recognition for your partners?
That is something we did not do, which would have been very good for us to do. We have a multi-county community college in that particular, working with our district. But we did not do that, but I think that would be an ideal way to get some of that communications out. We have a very small district. Well, some people would consider it small, but I do see that we have somebody from New York City. So we were very minor compared to New York City's population. So we have, personally, in our district, we had a very small communications department. As a matter of fact, our communications person, as in most districts, covered many hats.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question online from Lindsay about setting up work-based learning opportunities. Do you find that there is a go-to person inside most organizations to reach out for initial contact? That is one of the challenges, is to know exactly who to go to. And Lindsay, let's see, you are in New York, so that kind of helps me a little bit. It depends on whether you are looking for someone to work with a program itself. For example, I take machine tool technology. If you're looking for somebody to be on an advisory board for machine tool technology, then you would be looking at somebody who might be at the management level, maybe not your company manager, manufacturing manager, but somebody at a management level. A lot of times folks go to the HR department. That sometimes works, but not always. So you kind of have to get one contact and then go from there to see if that is the person you need to speak with, or if they can refer you to somebody else. I hope that answered your question, Lindsay. All right, I'm going to continue back on with the PowerPoint that I had started with. As I mentioned, about 25 years ago, the upstate of South Carolina had been largely textiles and peach orchards. That was what we were known for. That was the basic economic drive in the area. And then back in the early 90s, a little company called BMW Manufacturing came in and really made a dramatic change in the economy of the upstate of South Carolina. The image on your screen right now is one of several different companies that we highlighted in our high school and at our freshman academy, with large posters on the wall so that students could see what actually went on inside the four walls of these manufacturing facilities. BMW came in And along with BMW, we started getting a lot of their suppliers because they had a very tight turnaround. And over the course of the last 20 plus years, we've seen a tremendous increase in the manufacturing of the upstate of South Carolina. Down in the Low Country in the Charleston, South Carolina area, we've also had Boeing come in with one of their plants. But in the upstate, one of the things that we did early on was partner with BMW related to curriculum. We felt that there was a need, and they felt that there was a need for there to be a link to the tours that they offered, because they did offer tours for students as well as for the public. And just checking a chat, sorry. And we developed a team of educators that worked with folks at BMW so that we could align math standards, science standards, and technological literacy standards to their tours. So we developed a document that did that and developed several different tour options that would meet those goals. That was one of those areas that was a great partnership, and it also allowed us to get some inroads into BMW for future work-based learning opportunities for some of our students. Another area that I mentioned that a lot of businesses can help with is with professional development. For several years, we sponsored as a district a world-class conference. That conference asked business and industry professionals to come in to be a resource for our professional development for our teachers and administrators in grades K through 12. Excuse me, grades 6 through 12. We did have a district strategic plan, basically, that would orient the district to world-class concepts using performance benchmarks obtained from collaboration with business partners in the community. Because we had such a varied business partner pool to choose from, we asked a number of different folks to come in and present what they needed from a business standpoint for us to do in the education arena. Basically, students will have a consistent career focus throughout their education, and administrators and teachers should be continuously updated. So this was a way that we could update them about the changes in workplace skills, knowledge, attitude requirements, and so forth, of what would make a successful employee for these companies. So the district strategic plan required a one-day in-service to do things such as industry tours, at that time scans training, exposure to world-class concepts, and so forth. As I said, we had administrators and teachers, grades 6 through 12. Our presenters included many business and industry leaders, Chamber of Commerce leaders, workforce development experts, as well as our technical college president and some of the college's staff as well. We took a three-pronged approach and developed a whole conference so that teachers who could not normally go out to a conference, could not attend Vision, for example, or Region 2 or a regional conference, or even a state conference, would feel when they finished at the end of the day that it was worthwhile and that they had attended a conference, that they weren't just sitting in an in-service for the whole day. We developed a theme. One particular year, we used the theme Preparing for a Career in a High-Stakes World. Again, a three-pronged approach looking at economic development, workforce development, and how education plays a role in all of that. To give you a little bit of an idea, some of our topics included world-class customer service, learning the Baldrige criteria for achieving excellence, workforce diversity in a global organization, Industry needs schools to teach. What do we need to be teaching our students for them to be successful in business and industry in the future? The skills students need to keep and get a job. Workplace skills for a world-class industry. Skills required for teamwork, which is so important in business and industry. How to prepare for employability. The technical skills for the future, word problems in business, the service industry, banking and credit, why that is so important, and employee hiring and the skills that are needed. So a lot of those topics were very, very important from the business standpoint, and our teachers saw a great value in discussing those topics with folks. I'm going to go back and see if there are some other questions. Any questions, discussion? As I say, I'd love to have some dialogue here. I feel like, well, I have been talking the whole time. So are there some folks that would like to insert about what you are doing? ACTE has a number of resources available. One of the things that I would like to do is talk about some of those. There's the CTE Clearinghouse, Business Partnerships and Community Involvement. There are sector sheets, and we're going to take a look at each of these online in just a moment. Business and industry resources specifically, some fact sheets, as well as publications on business partnerships and American competitiveness. So if we look at some of these that are available, the Clearinghouse on Business Partnerships and Community Involvement has a number of related techniques articles, issue briefs, research reports, as well as some video webinars and other reports and books from other sources, some previous presentations, and some journal articles as well. The sector sheets provide some basic background talking about the impact and for economic development in each of the areas that are listed here, such as law and public safety, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, energy, and so forth. Those are available, which will help you to be able to understand a little bit more about the importance of each of those particular sectors.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
I think you're still sharing the PowerPoint.
I am so sorry.
No problem.
All right. Let's go back and let me stop that. All right, do we have a website up now?
Yes, thank you.
I apologize. All right, let me go back to the Clearinghouse and show you what's available on the Clearinghouse. As I said, the techniques articles that are related to business and industry, some issue briefs, research reports, videos and webinars, as well as reports and books from other sources. These are just some places you can go to get additional information about what folks are doing in other areas, both from the education side as well as from the business and industry side. I mentioned the sector sheets, talking about the key to economic development and CTE's role. Sometimes some of the business and industry leaders are not fully aware of how important CTE is until they start looking at what value we provide with our training. Sometimes secondary CTE is overlooked because there's such a strong tie with the post-secondary institutions. So it's very valuable for the secondary folks to be able to communicate with those business leaders the important value that they provide as well at the secondary level. Business and industry partners. This page talks about publications specifically geared for business and industry. Also talks a little bit about corporate membership if they want to join as a company. There are some general fact sheets that are available. Why CTE is good for the economy, what credentials are, some infographics, links there to the sector sheets, as well as some issue sheets, which talks about CTE's role in a variety of arenas. Then there are some, there's a CTE Policy Watch that talks about up-to-date information. So those are some of the resources that are available on the ACTE website. And I'm going to go back because I've still not had a lot of feedback from folks and would love to have a little bit more dialogue and discussion.
On the fact sheets, Rick, how often are those updated? To your knowledge.
Kate, I'm going to maybe defer that to you because I'm not sure on how often that happens.
Years. We don't do that.
Well, I know that our research department looks at these on a regular basis. I'm not sure if the fact sheets get updated more than once a year at the most regular. But we do introduce.
They're also, the fact sheets are dated, so ostensibly
Right.
they're you can tell when they were last updated. So to the extent that you see information that's a few years old, it was contemporary at the time of the fact sheet.
Right. But if there's information that you need and you want to get an update, I'm sure if you contact us, we can check with our research department and see if they can access that for you.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
I'm going to go back to a fact sheet and pull one of those up specifically. And you wanted the fact sheet or the sector sheets?
I was looking at fact sheets.
Okay. We'll just. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This particular one is several years old on worker retraining. And I'm just going to scroll down to show you what it's offering. Getting down into policy actions needed. So, other questions? Other questions? Are those resources that we looked at things that would be of value to you?
Yeah, this is Kathy again. Yes, I have used them in the past doing some initial research, and I found them very helpful. And that's why I'm asking the question about, the timeliness on getting them updated. So I appreciate your help. Thanks.
Okay. Well, if you look at the clearinghouse that should be on your screen now, the techniques articles are all dated by issue and year. Other items that are on there do not appear to have a date. Other questions?
Rick, this is Kate. I'm here with Kevin Oshinsky, who works with our Strategic Partnerships Group at ACTE staff. And we had a question as you were going through your presentation. We'd be curious to hear what challenges people on the call are facing that they are trying to address with business industry partnerships and growing that area.
So folks who are online, what challenges do you have? Everything going fine for everybody?
It looks like one of our participants, Nancy, might be trying to connect. Nancy, if you're having audio issues, you can type them into the chat box too.
Anybody else have any comments to make, any discussion about issues that you have had, some ways you've used partnerships that we've not talked about today?
Rick, this is Harriet Happel from Elgin Community College.
Hi, Harriet.
When you put these events into place, do you have a strategy that's guiding what you're doing, or are you more or less trying things out to see what works and what doesn't work?
We start with our district strategic plan and use that as our starting point. Obviously, we see what works and doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, we'll stop because we don't want to waste our resources or our teachers' time. One of the things that I was very adamant about when we did the World Class Conference was that it was a world-class event, that people would feel that they had been to a conference, that it was valuable. We asked for feedback and addressed all of those issues each year when we came back to the drawing board to do it the next time. You're not going to please everybody. And what you do is not going to be successful for everybody, especially when you're looking at hundreds or thousands of employees, but you try to address as many issues as you can and be as successful as you can for as many people as you can. Hope that answers your question.
Well, so as you go forward then, so what happened after the event? Do you have more business partners that come on board and function more or less as a team member in terms of presenting the next event? Do you partner with them that way, or do you then just go back to the district and continue to implement your strategy just from your district resources?
No, we would always try to cultivate additional partnerships, and when we would get a new partner, we would work with that person to see what resources they had that would benefit us and how we could benefit them.
Okay.
Other comments or questions?
Rick, this is Kate again. We have a question for you.
All right.
You talked a little bit earlier about how it was important to you that these partners were doing more than just what they would normally be doing. They're not just getting free advertising to your students. How did you get these partners to come on board, I guess? Is there something, like what were some some points that you made to them that really resonated, that managed to get them to buy into CTE and your programs?
I think that the networking is very important. I did not enjoy getting up early in the morning, going to a chamber meeting, driving almost 45 minutes to get there, but that was a valuable place to meet those partners and discuss what their needs were. And we would have sidebars either at a break or following the meeting. If we had a particular need in the district, we would identify a partner there or develop a new partnership with somebody that was there, or somebody that they knew and were aware of that could help us. So we kind of work the networking, I think, is a big thing.
Thank you.
Other questions? I think we've lost a couple of people to the lunch hour.
Well, I know at one point early on, Rick, you asked people to go around and talk about what their role is. And I know Lindsay had to jump off, but she said that she is the director of CTE for a nonprofit in New York City that designs, starts, and supports public schools. And a group of those schools are CTE schools. Would it be helpful to go around and see what other people are doing?
I think that would be great. Harriet, you said you're at a post-secondary institution, correct?
Yes, I'm at Elgin Community College in Elgin, Illinois, and I serve as the director for the Perkins Grant operations here.
Okay.
So we have a total of 33 what would be classified as CTE programs. And, you know, we know that business partnerships are the key to our success. And we actually identify our partnerships on two different levels: industry partnerships and then our partnerships with our school districts. And so for us, the Perkins team is fairly new in that we really took a different direction in terms of how we were using that grant funding. So the team is less than a year old, so we're looking at strategy. We're trying to define how we're going to go forth in terms of developing these partnerships. And they've already existed, but what we're finding out is that they've existed very informally.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is to give some strategic intent now so that we can start really move forward in order to have measurable outcomes.
And I think something you mentioned is something I mentioned earlier, that the post-secondary institutions need to work with the secondary institutions as well. I think that's very, very valuable.
Absolutely. I mean, that's at the top of our list.
Great.
And I guess that would be a nice segue to me because I work with Harriet at Elgin Community College. As she mentioned earlier, our team is relatively new, so I've been in my role since February, and I'm primarily responsible for managing those relationships with our secondary partners. But what you've shared today, Rick, has been a very interesting to me, particularly because whether we're post-secondary or secondary, the need to understand what business desires from our students in terms of their skill sets and their qualifications and whatnot, all of that gets fed back into our CTE programs. So I do very much appreciate what you've shared, and especially the resources, again, from ACTE, which, as I mentioned earlier, I've already tapped into many of those, and I see those as becoming very, very valuable to how we move forward.
I think it's important to always remember what business and industry needs, what the community as a whole needs as well, because it's all one team. And if one player is not successful, it's going to affect everybody.
Mhm.
I agree. Oh, and before anyone else jumps on, real quickly, I just may want to get your contact information regarding professional development, because part of my role as well is to work with our faculty here at Elgin Community College to keep them abreast of what business is looking for in terms of skill sets and things of that need from our students.
Okay.
Gotcha.
On the screen, or should be.
Gotcha.
Anybody else? Any other comments? Karen, you've been kind of quiet. Where are you located?
Karen, I think you are on mute, but you should be on unmute now. Or if anyone is not able to connect to the audio, you can also type into the chat box.
Other questions or comments?
Karen has shared that she is in Oklahoma. She's at Tulsa Technology Center.
Okay, great.
And KM is with Harriet and Kathy.
All right, wonderful.
Karen is an adult coordinator, and she works with business and industry.
Any other questions before we sign off? Well, I've appreciated the time to give you a little bit of an insight into what we did in Spartanburg District 5 in South Carolina. As I said earlier, the upstate of South Carolina underwent a major shift in the economic development when BMW came in. We did already have several international companies in the area, such as Michelin, Sealed Air Cryovac, as well as some other international smaller companies. But BMW made a huge impact into the economy of the area, into the growth of the area.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Rick, for being our host of today's discussion. It's our second one, and our participation has just grown so much since the last time, but it's really good to see all these new faces on this call. So thank you all for participating as well. Okay.
I thank everybody for taking time out and spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.